Brilliant. Welcome, Nico, to the show. Welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel, coffee chat. I've got my coffee, Nico. I've got some vegan cake, banana vegan cake. I've got water. I've come prepared because I know when and I've got this is juice, Nico, and in here is green cucumber. So we're all set, Nico. It's been great. We've been trying to do this for a while now, and I got suspended from YouTube for having somebody on with slightly different views from the norm. We're not going to touch on that. We both agreed that that's not that necessary. And what we thought about doing, well, what I asked you to do, is it okay if we talk about life, your understanding of well, it is spiritual, really, because it you know, through the day you'll have constant thoughts all the time, I'm sure, about how you can improve not only your life at home, but your life at work and your life, and just to make a difference for your client's life. So let me start by saying welcome, Nico Bajerski. Nico, if nobody knows you yet, most of my followers do because they follow you. But for those who don't know Nico, Nico is a ballet dancer. And
brilliant.
Thank you. No, Nico is, amongst other things, an amazing father. That's the first thing. Wonderful husband, kind of.
And he loves it, yeah.
To
my husband.
Wonderful at looking after your clients, but I think you really think they're more of a family. So what Nico has is a gym, and it's an amazing gym, a dojo, I believe it is, but it's also a gym. It's a combination of what Nico's created all by himself. Nobody really has given him anything. He's had to work at it, and he's got a great story to tell. He's also an author of an amazing book, really fascinating. I think he was one of the youngest gym owners in the UK. And that was quite an accomplishment, but also he's done some fantastic work for people who have been bullied and people who are lost in life and really kind of struggling. So first of all, Nico, welcome to the show. And how has your day been today?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. And what I'd like to say is, as a team player I am, despite it being 8:30 p.m. in the evening in England, I did, on the way back from the academy, get myself a mocha from Costa.
I won't hold it against you, Nico.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, I hope it passes as coffee. It is a mocha. I got a mocha by mistake about a year ago, meaning to get hot chocolate, and I actually quite liked it. So I don't like coffee on its own, but I do something else, and I've become a bit addicted. I'm turning into you, I think. So
yeah, I'm fairly addicted. I'm fairly addicted to coffee, I must admit, but I actually, when everybody looks at my coffee cup, I only drink a few sips. I don't really drink that much, and I leave it, and then I just order another one. It's kind of habit.
I'm the same, 2 cups of tea like that.
Let's just get straight into it.
So my day's been it's been a brilliant. Okay, so I'll tell you what. My weeks are very, very busy. So Monday to Thursday, I try to get a lot in. And on Fridays, what I try to do is have a bit of solace time, a bit of me time. So I specifically try to not book as many PTs in, despite them trying to book in with me. I try to just take some time for myself. And it's, I really need that. So today, I just take myself off on a run, have a bit of me time, do a bit of housework, help out at home, and just sort of get away from the gym a little bit, really, and taught the class tonight. So yeah, just a bit of me time on Fridays.
It's brilliant. How old are you, Nico? How old are you?
I'm nearly 30. I'm 29.
29 years old. That's pretty, the way you think is quite, well, it is really, it's an old wise soul, because normally you get to about 40 and think about like that, you know, at that kind of age, like me, I was just rushing, busy and not thinking about anything, but you're actually thinking about your family, you're thinking about me time, which is very rare to find. So that's brilliant, Nico.
It's really important to me. Honestly, it really is important to me, whether I'm running or just driving, whatever it is. I do find it's very important just to, because I deal with a lot of people every day, big groups of people, and you've got to be constantly, despite what mood you're in, upbeat, uplifting. Yeah, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that. And then I need that yin and yang time. So on Fridays, not much going on, just a bit of me time, which I really enjoy. I look forward to Fridays, spending it with my best friend, myself, and that's it.
That's great, Nico. Can I ask you something? When you're feeling down and not well, when you're going to work and you have to be more uplifting, do you find that actually uplifts you at the same time and makes you feel better?
It does. I'm really thankful for my academy, because it keeps me constantly something to work towards, focused, fresh. All the students, they bring me up, and I kind of feel happiness is, despite what mood I'm in that day, I don't let it change how I deal with that day. So whether I'm happy or sad, I'll just make sure I do the same thing despite it. I'm not the sort of person, if I felt down, to change anything I did. And because of that, I carry on doing the same thing that I do, and then I just fall into pattern. And, you know, I quite like my life. I've got a good life. So I do quite well. You know, I make sure I always stay upbeat, based on actions, really. This might sound silly, but if you smile and just make yourself smile and laugh, you can actually change your mood just by doing that. Wow. So, you know, based on that thing, if I just live my life as I normally do, and I'm always
brilliant. That's brilliant. It's brilliant. When you were a little boy, Nico, I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, but when you were no, not at all, not at all. You were an amazing little boy, but you had a short span of attention, or you used to get angry very quickly at times. You had this kind of like, you know, anger. How did you manage that as you got older? Because you don't seem to have that anymore. It seems to have gone.
Well, it's martial arts.
Wow.
And fitness and training. Now, I believe I still would have that if it wasn't for what I did for a living. Now, I put a lot of people's anger management and anger issues and frustrations and things at the world down to just energy in the body that hasn't been burnt off.
Wow.
But, you know, I look back at anger issues that I had as a child, and I didn't have an outlet, right? So I did a bit of running, a bit of bag work, but, you know, I just didn't have an outlet. And I do see that in a lot of young men who come to the academy, when they get angry and they lash out at the world, it's just a bank of energy in the body that they've got, which that energy could be put into something positive. They just don't know how to get rid of it, you know? So I probably still would have it. It's just, I burn it off. How could I lash out if I'm training all the time, all my energy spent on that? When I'm finished training, I just want to lie back on the couch and just go, okay. Mm-hmm. So I believe a lot of it's down to that, you know.
Brilliant. And what about ego, Nico, in the gym? Because all gyms, there's always one who's got a bit of an ego, who wants to prove himself. What's the difference between that kind of ego and somebody really in an angry place? Because ego can present itself in anger too. Jealousy, right? So how do you tell the difference? Like you just said, these guys need to burn it off. But what if it's ingrained ego, and does that go away quickly with people? How do you deal with that?
It's such a big topic. 90% of the public, young men in general that I will deal with, there's a common pattern, and I will the same, no different. They'll come into the gym and there's a bit of an ego, and one or two things will happen when they start Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They'll get tapped out because we're fighting with science, not with muscle.
Wow.
They get tapped out. They will either say, okay, this is great. And over time, ego dies down. They become all humble. Or they'll say, they'll go the other way, but they'll get angry about it or make excuses. That's rare. However, sometimes it's very rare, down to like childhood trauma or things like this. It can be in very rare circumstances, maybe 1 in 300 young men, where we just have to say goodbye. I can't help you. I could, but it takes too long. You need some serious help. You've got some deep-rooted issues.
Brilliant.
9 times out of 10.
Brilliant.
What we do, we change lives through, and not just me. That's no ego. No. Most martial art gyms will do the same. So.
Brilliant. That's amazing. And like you said, sometimes, a good teacher, a good mentor will know their strengths and say, look, I don't think I'm the one to help you. And plus the fact you're dealing with a huge group of people that you're your family, and one can actually cause great disruption and suffering to the rest. So I think that's big of you.
I liken this to, and you shared this not long ago on social media, a moldy lemon, which so a moldy lemon in a pack of nice lemons, that mold will spread quite rapidly.
Right.
But if there's no moldy lemon, the mold will hopefully never spread with good energy, as we say.
Right, I get it.
I like it, it's at the top. So what can happen is you've got one bad egg at the top of the academy. And then not I'm the top, but someone, a bit lower down, but still high up, and they can infiltrate other people, and they can be sidetracked, and then they'll put mold on that other person that will inevitably spread it out. And my academy is 10 years old. So over the 10 years, I was a kid when I started, less experienced. These things can happen. Right now, I very comfortably say that it's a great family. Like, I was walking out the room the other day to the front, and I thought, and I actually said it to someone. I went, and they looked at me like I'm crazy. I went, do you know what? Everyone's so nice.
It's brilliant.
And they don't know what I mean. Like, of course they're all so nice, but like, you didn't see it 4 or 5 years ago when it wasn't potentially like that so much.
Right. You've created
like, it can take a long time. People need to respect you. You need to be a bit older, not 21 sometimes.
Yeah.
But it just learning,
Well, wow, Nico, you've learned from the very beginning. I remember part of the story that you wrote in your book where you created this gym, and like, I don't know if you've ever seen Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams, but he basically started mowing his crop and turned it into a baseball pitch. And his wife and everybody said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I don't know. I just need to do it." And he kept hearing this voice, the voice was, if you build it, they will come. Absolutely. And I remember what you were saying in your book, and it really touched my heart that you used to finish your work, go there, sit down, nobody had come, you'd hope that somebody had walked through your door, and you'd go back, and you'd keep going back till one day somebody started coming through the door. I mean, that to me it reminds me of the Karate Kid, things like that story. How did that feel when nobody was coming into you created it and nobody came in? Because most people would give up straight away.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because I think if I was to do it now, I don't know, it wouldn't be the same. I'm always been extremely self-disciplined, but it goes beyond that. Back when I first started, this was in 2011, so I'd have been like 19. I just was so excited at the fact that I'm an MMA coach. Really, I didn't really care if anyone came. I'm just an MMA coach. But people did say to me on many occasions, there's nobody there. Like, Friday night, there's nobody there. Saturday morning, there's nobody there. You've got no money. You sat on some Argos mats. And, and I just thought, but it will be happening. It will happen. And I'd be like writing new classes down. So next Wednesday, we're going to be teaching this new class. Like, we've got no students. The thing is, it takes, I just worked at it to the point now where Citus MMA is literally one of the largest martial art academies.
Yeah.
And, I just always saw it as that anyway. So when I'm there, I didn't think it was dead. I'd look at people like they were stupid, like, no, I've got 1 or 2 people, some mats, I'm a coach.
Brilliant.
It's one of them.
Brilliant.
Where ever, people always supported me, and look, but
it's brilliant.
It takes time, and that just shows life. Life's all about positive thinking, and you know.
You created it, Nico. You created it. There's no other word. You created
it. I keep saying it again. Like, I'm so happy right now. Like, we had a lad Hayden fighting on the weekend, and
yeah.
After we sat back after the fight, I'm sat back and there's 40 of my students there, all dancing and cuddling and laughing.
Amazing.
And hearing my, because I just thought to myself, this is what it's all about. Like, there's a solid family here. There's a really camaraderie down at the gym. It's unbelievable. Everyone flies a flag, Citus MMA and BJJ.
Amazing.
Coach Nico and Hayden, and you know, and they've got these blue. You know, it's, you know,
I can feel it. I can feel it from you, Nico. I mean,
yeah,
you'll be so proud. So let's just move on a little bit, and let's, if it's okay with you, I'm fascinated with your childhood. I know you'd rather talk about, you know, and we will get to other things, but let me just ask you about this. You know, I'm being a bit selfish here because I want to just take over this a little bit just for myself, if you don't mind. But I want everybody to know who's watching this today. I often say to people, children come here to teach us, and they come here to remind us of something we forgot. Now, I'm going to give you a perfect example that I don't really share, but when I was an auctioneer, my son was only a young boy, and he kept pestering me about going to have a look at these stones. And I'm like, okay, let's go. So he takes me to this big place filled with these shiny rocks. And I'm like walking around bored. And the owner of this place, this huge place, saw Nico's excitement over these crystals. We were in a huge crystal warehouse. And Nico, like, you were only a young lad. I mean, only small. And this owner comes over to you, and from nowhere starts talking to you, and you and him are having a conversation about crystals. I know that his sons aren't that excited about crystals, this guy who owned it. And he's talking to you, and then next minute, he's taking you downstairs, asking me if I want to come. And I'm going, yeah, is it going to take long? And he takes us downstairs to the most beautiful collection of Blue John, where he tells us, and you were like excited. I'm going, yeah, is it going to be long? And like, he's telling you that this is the best collection of all. And his second collection, he sent to Christie's and sold for 7 million. And this collection, what we're looking at, is worth over 10 million. And chalices, things that you've never seen, so beautiful, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's okay, but we've got to go. And like, he gives you a piece of Blue John. He's so impressed with how young you are and how much you were into crystals. What was all that about, Nico?
Yeah, so throughout my life, I'm the sort of obsessive personality type guy. So if I've been into birds, crystals, and all that, there was one point in my life right then, I was absolutely obsessed with crystals. And it went on for about 2 years. So in my bedroom, I'd have the rocks and a piece of paper, hematite, carnelian, etc. And obsessed with crystals. I really was. I mean, I didn't know they had the power that's in them, like, you know all about. I just loved crystals. And, you know, we used to go to the Peace Hall to buy crystals. And, you know, and you told me about this place, to be fair. It was Rock Shop in Huddersfield. And you said, look, Nico, you love crystals. There's this place called the Rock Shop. And I remember the first day you took me, and I was just, it was like, and it sounds crazy, right? But I was like
a kid in a sweet shop.
Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. That's how I felt.
Yeah,
I really was. And now it's the opposite way around. Like, I like, I've got like a small crystal collection that Haley's constantly trying to get rid of. But I do have all the crystals that I had before. And I says, no, I'm not. I want to put them in a display cabinet, because I still do have, you know, quite a small fond interest for crystals. Yeah, I mean, I did. I love crystals when I was a child, you know.
Maybe then you came here to teach your dad what he's forgotten. That's what I'm saying, that children are here to teach us, and that's a great example. Thank you for sharing that. Second one, Nico, I don't know if you remember this, but you were in a car when you were a young boy, and it was quite a deep thing, and I was kind of taken aback by it and didn't really know how to handle it. But you told me as we were driving about a dream that you had. And you said you described the dream really vividly, telling me about what it looked like, how it felt. And you said, Dad, if that's heaven, I think I'd like to go now. No, you do you remember or not?
I vaguely remember.
A long time ago.
I vaguely remember, and this sounds a bit crazy, but I do remember the dream quite vividly.
Wow.
Yeah, I still do. Yeah.
Wow.
To this day, I'm quite fascinated by dreams. I really am. Yeah. I sometimes think dreams are some sort of, this might sound a bit crazy, but I know a lot of your viewers that are listening are open to this sort of stuff.
Totally.
I just think dreams, for me, throughout my life, have sort of shocked me so many times. I've had a dream about something and it's like happened 2 days after. And I almost think dreams can be some sort of connection to a timeline that we're not, like a psychic timeline, which blurs the lines of linear time that we're used to.
Wow.
But anyway, that dream that we're speaking about, it was a strange one. It was like a warm day in a park, beautiful fields and trees, and it was just warm, and it was just something different about it. It felt magic and it felt like real. And I've been lucky enough in my life to have on three separate occasions, lucid dreams. And a lot of people claim to have had lucid dreams. And you'll only know if you've had a lucid dream if you wake up and you think that was exactly like life. And when I'm in it, I know I was in a dream.
Wow.
Control it. I've had 3.
Wow.
I mean, look, this course.
Can you tell us about one of them, please? Could you just give us a run through of what a lucid dream is?
A lucid dream is when you wake up in real life.
And where are you? Where are you in that lucid dream, Nico?
A long time ago, but I was somewhere where I've never been. And it was just in a house, and I walked out of the house and I was driving. And the weird thing about it is, if you just Google lucid dreams, people will know what I mean. Like people.
Well, I think a lot of my clients and I know what they are. But it's nice for people to hear what. So you were in a house.
So you can walk, you can fly, you can talk, and you know that person you're talking to is in your dream, but they don't know. It's really difficult to explain. It's
no, it's great.
It's like I'm awake right now.
Right.
Who walks in, and it's just as real as this, and I can say to that person, "How are you doing?" Blah, and I know they're in my dream.
Right.
It's such a strange thing.
Oh no, it's amazing.
It's on lucid dreams where, like, because people might have had 1 or 2 in their lifetime, and they'll want to reconnect to the lucid dream. So what they'll do is they have like tricks. So they'll say, right, during the day, you put your finger up in the air.
Right.
You ask yourself, am I dreaming? If it gets longer, imagine your finger getting longer.
Yeah.
You say, okay, no, I'm not dreaming. And you train yourself. So eventually your brain connects, and hopefully in the dream you go, is it getting longer? Yes.
We've seen this.
You know, stuff like this.
We've seen this on Hollywood. There's a lot of films.
Great.
Amazing. Okay, that's great. That's really great information. Your childhood friend, Nico, there's a lot of psychic things happen to you. I don't know if you actually know, but you actually were a psychic child, because these things are very, very much psychic that a lot of people push out of their life, don't talk about, don't think about. But I do remember you mentioning to me that you had a childhood invisible friend. Do you remember that, Nico?
No, I don't remember that. But what I can tell you categorically is some people that are not well versed on this world right now are probably thinking I'm a nutter.
No, I don't. No, it doesn't matter. But this is interesting.
I have seen 2 spirits in real life.
I remember you talking about this.
One time I was on a boat in Tenerife, and I woke up and there was a child there, and then disappeared. And the other time was in my old house. I thought someone had broken in to the point I dropped my plate, and then the person disappeared. Right. So you're probably right. I know I wasn't hallucinating, so I 100% believe I've seen spirits. Yeah.
Well, definitely. you're on a show now, Nico, where 99.9% of people have already experienced this.
Yeah,
They already know it's real.
I do have a lot of fans in the UK that just know me for being the martial artist.
Well, maybe they might actually.
We learned something more about Coach Nico today, which is a good thing. Eh?
It is a good thing. Okay, so let's just, before we move on to all the stuff about your work, you were in you had a motorbike accident,
right? Yeah.
One of the things that
another great question. It ties into everything we're talking about.
Yeah. Do you want to just follow up on that? Just tell us what go a bit deeper with that.
Yeah. So I was on the way to meet my cousin in Sawby Bridge on my motorbike and moped, which was on Sawby Bridge. Some people might know Sawby Bridge, and I was going over the bridge in Sawby Bridge, and about 100 yards on the left, a car was about to pull out. And I had a gut feeling about this car that it was going to pull out. But me being naive, 16, I'm the king of the world, thought it's my right of way. Lo and behold, the car pulled out. And like everybody says, it's slow motion, time stopped. I saw the bonnet for what felt like 5 minutes, and then bang. I just remember bang. 30 foot I flew. Luckily, it was quite quiet, even though it was quite a busy time.
Could you say that again? What happened? Say that one more time. After you banged, what happened?
Luckily, it was quite quiet, even though it was a busy time.
No. Before that, did you say something about you flew? I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Do you want to say that? Repeat that again. You just talk us through how it happened.
So I hit the car. Okay, so it was quite a big collision because I was going max speed 30. But what happened is the car in front tried to pull around me as I tried to pull around the car. So it was a big bang. And I flew 30 foot and bounced another 10, as many witnesses said. And I remember, this is no exaggeration, there's no need to exaggerate, being knocked out. I sometimes think to myself, potentially I passed to the other side. Because I remember hearing something saying to me, and this is the words I heard, and I can tell you now, the words were, "Get up now or you will never get up."
Wow.
Right? I swear to God. And I just stood up to my feet, right? And I was still knocked out because, of course, there was hundreds of people around, a bus had stopped and kids, and everyone saying to me, "You've been knocked out." And I said, "No, I haven't. I'm fine." You know, when you've been knocked out. And people were in shock. The lady in the car that was driving didn't get out of the car because she thought I was dead. It was very bad. I was very lucky to be alive.
So what happened in that, I mean, were you hurt? Were you damaged?
Luckily enough, not much.
You say luck, but let's just really talk about it. You flew across, right? I fell off my motorbike and landed 2 feet, 3 feet, and I smashed all my shoulders. So you flew 30 whatever, and you landed. And so could you, or could it be that there was some kind of intervention that saved you as you were landing, or something like that? Do you think something happened like that?
I felt like I had about 4 women around me that wasn't there, like entities, you know. That's how
holding you or letting you
around
me,
slowly. Just around me. Yeah.
So you were protected, basically.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Like
totally.
those words in my head wasn't me because I thought I was knocked out.
Right.
So was those words me if they came to my head, you know?
Amazing. That's an amazing story. You should write another book, Nico. So you as you've been growing up, you've been you know, the place where you are, where as many places are, as you grow up as a young lad, you've got to be careful, and so, you know, around you, you've got to be sharp, aware of things, and things certainly happen to young lads, you know, and there's been many a times that you've had to look after yourself when there's those moments where you have you have no choice. I've never seen you, Nico, as one to want to hurt anybody. I've never seen that. You've got, in fact, it's the opposite with you, but yet you still carry an energy that, is necessary, I believe, for people to stop bullying people. Now, I talked about this with your sister, and I'd like to ask you this question. Why is it that certain kids get bullied, do you think? And why is it that certain kids don't get bullied? Or do you think everybody gets bullied?
It's predatory behavior that is in every child and adult, really. It's still there, from ingrained in people, predatory behavior that most of us that are mature and empathic don't act upon. But people that are more insecure act upon it. So the predatory behavior is somebody, of course, that is, looks more like a victim, shoulders down, a bit more weak, a bit more vulnerable. They're much more likely to be picked upon, because if they get picked upon, it looks like they're not going to fight back. It's going to be an easy win, an easy victory for the coward. So all my juniors at my academy, I've got hundreds of testimonials to prove it. They don't get bullied.
Wow.
I have many that say, look, my child had to use a punch, a kick, a guillotine, a choke to, subdue the person. But 9 times out of 10, they just stop getting bullied when they come to my academy, because they get more confident. Like, how can they get bullied when they're sparring every night, grappling every night? They walk to school like, okay, I've just been grappling with a 17-year-old kid last night. What are you going to do? So it just changes overnight, Every now and again, yes, violence has to be used, but 9 times out of 10, I just call it an aura, just an aura, not an egotistical aura. And I think the most powerful aura is one which isn't egotistical, because I believe a lot of egotistical auras can be put on like a show. And the most powerful aura is the one where people recognize the most, which is the one which is just actually real, and confidence. And you can't fake confidence. There's 2 things you can't fake. And one is you can't fake fear. So if you can't fake fear, you can fake basically anything else, but you can't fake fear. So if you know someone...
What do you mean you can't fake fear? I mean, what do you mean? Oh, you mean you mean bravery? You can't fake bravery.
Yeah, instinctually, a predator, it's someone who's a bully, will know if you're actually putting it on, if you're not scared.
So you're pretending not to be, you're talking about pretending not to have fear.
What I'm saying is I give actual confidence, because it's okay trying to pretend to be not scared.
Right. I understand what you're saying now. Basically
impossible. If you are intimidated and you pretend to try to not be intimidated, you can tell if you're intimidated. And most can get that. If you're not intimidated and you're confident, that's when they leave you alone, because it's an energy, and you can just see you're not intimidated. And that's what martial arts instills in people. Real martial arts, by the way, there's a lot out there which may install confidence, but for the most part, the main ones that work, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, the ones which are full contact, real, it instills full confidence, because the word I liken it to is knowing. It's all right me giving a child a belt and saying, you can do this.
Right.
It still is knowing. So I don't need to do that. It's knowing. And that's why I'm so confident in what I do and what I teach, because I don't need to. The word is knowing,
I said to your sister, it's like a boxer going into a pub saying, come on, a champion boxer. He would never say that.
Yeah. So for me, I will walk away all the time. I have got nothing to prove. If someone's looking at me funny, I'll just smile and I'll just leave the place. Yeah. Right? I'm not interested in that. For me, why have I got anything to prove? I'm the one with medals. I'm one with black belts and fought in the cage. I've got nothing to prove, right? Zero to prove. And what I will say is, and I instill this in the kickboxing self-defense systems that I teach, is if it's going to be violent, that it's serious. I'll settle for nothing less. So for me, it's either 1 or 2 things. It's like yin and yang. I liken myself to one of the most empathic, nicest people on the planet. If I see a child being bullied, it kills me inside. I feel it's been hit in the face.
Right.
At the same time, the opposite end of my spectrum is I believe I'm possibly one of the most dangerous men on the planet in one man. Because if I fight, I'm fighting for, on the street this is, for something very serious. The 19-year-old me might be like, yeah, let's have a fight. No. For me, I'm either looking after someone, I'll smile and walk away. But if I have to draw a line in the sand, I'm fighting for 2 children that need me, a family, and they need me and I need them. So if it comes to it, one of us is winning, and I'll take every level of violence it takes to beat them or multiple people to stay alive. And I'll take that much violence that'll 100% eclipse their violence and skill. I'm using that or nothing. And
I have a philosophy about that. My philosophy is that will never happen to you because you don't have fear. It only happens when there is fear within somebody, or they're worried and they become, again, doesn't matter how old you are, you still install that energy of fear in you, then you're going to be picked on, whether it's at work, whether it's on the street at night, if you've gone for a drink. But if you have that, what you call the aura, you can't, you're right. You can't, the aura can be seen by bullies, because actually bullies can be very intuitive, and they can pick on the weakest one and they can feel the aura. But that's really interesting. I want to move on anyway, Nico. That's really interesting. Hang on. Right. Let's see this, are you finding, this is because people are asking, they heard that I was doing the show. So I've got some teenagers growing up and asking this question because they feel a little bit alone and a little bit lost at the moment. So they asked me the question, can you ask Nico, are you finding an increase of mental, emotional trauma within new members who come in more than ever before because of what we've been through, the lockdown and things like that?
I mean, it was bad enough as it is. You know, we live in a world right now where you've got social media and people constantly addicted to the phones, constantly addicted to, you know, looking at people that have got an amazing life, thinking, what about mine? Constantly living in a world of low payment, which basically only covers house bills, and they're lost. They're thinking, I'm meant to be like this, I'm meant to be like that. And on top of that, it's been locked down for people that are young, meant to be living their life, you know, meant to be going out, having fun, locked up. Which I totally don't agree with, by the way. I don't want to go into this rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the have you noticed? And if so, the question is, how do you deal with that, Nico? And what is the answer to clearing that away? What's your answer to that?
I mean, I know I'm doing it as it is. Okay, so I've had like 75 new juniors enter through my doors post lockdown that were just sad, upset, and so were the parents, saying we need an outlet. You know, we've been locked up for 18 months. So at least I know I'm doing my bit as best as I can. I'm basically, they've already gone back to how they were, you know, and having fun and grappling and playing. But definitely on April the 12th, when the world over here hopefully stays opened up. Yeah, I definitely noticed. And I'm just doing my bit, but it wasn't, honestly, really. Yeah, it wasn't good. It was a sad time, especially they're just locked in the house 24/7.
Totally. And you know what, Nico, you're absolutely right with that. There was a study on baby monkeys, and the study was they took half the monkeys and allowed them to interact with each other and to hold each other and cuddle each other, and the other half they wouldn't allow to touch anybody, and they isolated them. They all died with depression and illnesses, and the other monkeys thrived. Basically, what it means is that human needs touch, interaction. And you guys actually, you know, you're interacting on that floor and you are working hard, and there's a lot of energy exchange. Do you see that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I mean, the mental health in the period of time when you wasn't allowed to do anything was very bad. I mean, suicide.
So you mean suicide thoughts? Were you getting any of your, like, I mean, we don't want to talk about anything personal, but did you see that they within your students, there were moments where they felt like they just wanted, not wanting to?
I'm quite well known for my advocacy in mental health in the UK.
Right.
as we know, and I'm quite well known for that through helping through martial arts. It's all quite well documented on YouTube. But what I will say is, in lockdown, I might get 3 to 5 messages a day from young men across the country asking for advice on certain stuff. And it went up a lot in COVID, 100%.
Okay, that's all we need to know. So it's good for those to know you're not on your own. And I think Nico's advice would be to maybe find a good gym like Nico's gym and to have, sorry?
Just have confidence to walk in. I'll just repeat that again. There's a lot of young men and women out there, and old men and women, that want to join up a martial art gym. And what I will say is, it's not just for children. I have students that are 50 plus years old. It's not just for children, and just walk in. The biggest part is walking in. And what I will advocate is, I'm sorry to be biased, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you walk in any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym in the UK, you will feel so welcome. You'll have a new family overnight.
Why, Nico? Why is it so different from the other arts?
I'm not pulling any other parts of
no.
Because I teach a lot of them.
What is it about this?
It's humility. It's been humble. It's been humble on the mats. So in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we hunt for what's called a submission. So you have no ego on no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mat. No matter how big or strong or egotistical you were, you have to go like this to someone who's been there 12 months longer, because we're fighting with science. So there's no ego on the mat. So when you walk in, I can just tell you now, there's no ego there. There's no staring. Now, look, I love striking. I teach striking. I've been teaching kickboxing for 15 years now. However, in a lot of striking gyms, you can get a slightly different energy, which can be a little bit like, I'm the tough guy.
Right.
Submission gets rid of it. I have my ladies at the gym and my juniors at the gym that will tap on the first day, 18 stone.
What's tap? To explain what tap is.
When you've got no choice but to submit and tap the person.
So when you're in pain, you do this to say stop.
You're either going to sleep from a choke or an armbar or a leg lock or a choke, and you'll have to tap. You would have no choice. So if you go into a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym and you've got a 21-year-old, 65-kilo lady tapping an 18-stone man, that man is going to have to be humbled or leave or change his ways. So in any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, you're going to have nothing but people that are humble, nice, and caring. And that is the reality of BJJ. And I can't.
So question then, Nico. What you're saying is, if somebody comes into your gym with ego after they've gone on the mat and they've experienced this challenge of, can I cope with this? Do you find that they either cope with it or they don't come back?
That's the one. Wow. Yeah. Most time they do come back. Sometimes they won't, but 9 times out of 10, they'll come back. And honestly, I see people change so much. I just see it all the time. I don't even have to do anything with them. I'll just put them with one of my better guys that are a lot smaller, and that, and they'll come in big and strong. And then 2 months later, how are you doing? You having a good day? It changes people for the better. 100%. Humble and confident.
Okay, thank you. This is great advice. This is wonderful for people to understand. Also, let's see where to go from here. I think it'd be nice to ask you, because people might be interested. There's such things as belts. So the different colored belts. Can I ask you, what's the highest belt you can get in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, please?
So it goes white, blue, brown, then black.
Right.
After black, you've got a dan per 3 years, which you get regardless. After you've had 9 dans, you go to coral belt and then red belt, which is only a few of on the planet, which is from the Gracies, the founding fathers. However, what I'd like to talk about a little bit with the belts is just the power of the belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, what I will say is this. It takes a damn long time to get graded in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I've been training for 10 years. I've competed against some of top grapplers in the UK, and I've got medals for it. I teach full-time, and I'm a brown belt with 2 stripes. So I'm still 2 stripes off black, but a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is basically a black belt in martial arts. That's the level we're talking about. It takes such a, you ask China, she's started training now in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and she's got a second stripe in it. So there's 4 stripes per belt, and it takes at least 6 months of hard training for that one piece of paper. And the reason why it's so, you know, it's such demand is because it's time consuming, and you earn your belts in this art. You will not see, you can't get a black belt until you're 19 anyway. So you won't see, you know, kids running around with black belts that shouldn't be. It's a lifetime of dedication. It's like a PhD. Your black belt is a PhD equivalent. It's up there. And, you know, in the 60s, they did say, regardless of skill level, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you've got to know an infinite amount, like an unbelievable amount. But martial arts and other arts have been slightly watered down because of the lack of power involved, the lack of martial involved, such as karate. If I said to you today, I'm a black belt in karate, you might say, okay, well, so's my niece. In the 60s, you wouldn't have said that because it was full bore, bam, Shotokan in the 60s. But because so many gyms and karate gyms opened up as time passed, they say, okay, well, that gym over there, they're going full bore to get the belts. You have to fight for it. What we're going to do, we're going to water it down and give kids yellow belts straight away. So that's where the term McDojo came from. So that's when, you know, it's watered down. But thankfully, that's almost impossible to happen in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu based on the standards internationally, which is 6 months per tag. You have to live roll, and anyone who's a black belt who isn't will just get outed in the community. There's only about 2,000 black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the planet. So what I would like to say is a bit of an ego trip here, which I'm proud of. As a brown, this is the stats. You're more likely to walk past a multiple serial killer on the streets than you are a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. And as myself, a brown belt, you're more likely to walk past a murderer, right? So that's the level we're talking. It takes time, and we're proud of what we do, and you earn your belts, and it's a lifetime achievement. I liken it to maybe a medal that you earn in war fighting for a country, something like that. It's difficult. It's difficult, but we love it.
Brilliant. Really interesting. You're also, to me, you also have this kind of unique ability of connecting to your students, your family. And when you see your students feeling down or sad, how do you deal with that, Nico?
Well, the main reason why I'm quite good with it is because I've trained all over the place at different gyms. At one point, the head coach of 3 gyms at the same time.
Wow.
But you know, I've dealt with people saying to me, Nico, I really want to kill myself.
Right.
I did it last night, and I might do it tonight.
How'd you deal with that, Nico?
Just experience and just being someone's best friend, a shoulder to cry on, giving them a cuddle, letting them know that, just really connecting to them and letting them know they're wanted by at least one person. And I mean it. It's genuine with me. You know, training people with schizophrenia, people that are seriously depressed, no motivation. So because of this, over time, I've been able to say, okay, well, I dealt with that person then, and that worked, and this worked. So, you know,
it's experience through clients.
Yeah, this is it. And I don't judge anybody. You will ask any of my students, and martial art academies, you might find somebody that the black belt of the academy may be like elitist. So a lot of the time they're like really nice with the guys who were there, they've been there longer, but the new people, they might be a bit like, yeah, okay, join up sound. But with me, I treat the person on the same day who may be depressed, overweight, sad, anxious, the exact same. I will speak to my best guy. And I think people have mentioned that to me a few times over the years, and I've realized I have, because I have zero ego. I've been beat that many times on the mat. I've been tapped that many times. I've been bullied, etc., that I don't think I'm nothing special. So I speak to everybody the same. I can look at that person sad and I can say, yeah, I've been you. I can look at that person really happy and say, yeah, I've been you. So we're all the same.
Wow, Nico. Well, you're anything but not special. You're very special, Nico, whether you know that or not. But anyway, let's just move on to something else, shall we? Because this is really great stuff. What I'm trying to do is attune to what people would like to ask Nico. So yeah, I mean, it's nice that we can talk about your gym. Your gym's really important to you. It's your life. Let's talk about Nico a little bit more personal. How's your personal life, and how do you cope with the gym and at home and looking after your children? How do you feel about that? How are you feeling like, do you have a, for me, I'd like to say, first of all, I think you've got, behind every great man, there's a woman rolling her eyes. We already know this. But what I mean is, I think you've got an amazing partner. Are you still there? Okay. So I think you've got an amazing partner, Haley. She's a rock. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. There's a lot of partners who would want you all to themselves, and you need to be with me more. So she's a strong soul who sees your gift, sees that what you have to do in life, and she's your, I see her as your scaffolding, so that you can go and do what you do, and you know that she supports you. How do you feel about that? Is that in tune, or what?
Yeah, it's absolutely in tune. Yeah, Haley, she's an absolute. She's a rock 100% as the family. Yeah, she takes care of the boys perfectly, and she never says, you know, don't do this, I want you at home. No offense to a lot of women, but that a lot of ladies do want their partner to themselves.
Well, they do, of course they do. I mean, that makes, it does actually make sense, because I decided I want to spend the rest of my life with you, so I want you to be there. That I can understand this, but it takes a stronger person. Takes a stronger.
Absolutely. You know, and what I will say is, because I did want to mention this for a lot of the viewers here.
Please.
Talk about like life and how I am as a person. As we've spoke about on this channel before, I did have as a child very bad OCD, so compulsive disorder, that a lot of people do have, but they may not speak about or speak about much. I had it really bad as a child, as you know, and about 3 months ago, it came back for about 8 weeks for the first time in about 10 years. And it came back with a vengeance. So I was living in almost like a nuclear war inside my head for about 6 weeks. Wow. For no apparent reason. But yet again, from my martial arts training and how I see things, I turned it from a negative straight to a positive. So I channeled all that stress and energy it was giving me just to sharpen everything up better in my life, do the gym up better, sharpen my logos up, sharpen my training up, my teaching methods and everything. And I'm not going to say the name of the title of the book, but my second book is not about martial arts. It's going to be about OCD. And it's going to be about making it work for you, because I really believe, hand on my heart, aside from self-discipline, obsessive compulsive disorder is exactly why I'm here today, where I'm at in life. Not saying I'm, you know, but where I am is because of OCD, because I'm extremely regimented. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because routine in time can add up and manifest to something special if the small things are important. So little stuff like I go on the, you know, I never do anything less than the training that I did the week before, or the amount of studying that I did the week before, which is going to be the whole academy, or, you know, things like this. Like I don't lose track because of my OCD, and it's not a problem. In fact, I like it because it keeps me sort of focused, you know. So
I think you've just hit the nail on the head there. I see, you call it OCD, I call it deep focus.
Yeah, well, this is why I'm intrigued. I'm interested in writing a book about it, because a lot of people out there, if they don't know this and see it as maybe a gift, and to put it into something special, you can be all over the place in your head thinking, oh, it's messy, that's messy, and I'm confused, and it don't feel right, and I just feel lost. Yeah. But if you put that into focus in your life, in something special, you can feel like a Superman, because you go, right, well, no, I'm not anymore. This is organized, that's organized. And eventually in time, you know, it will pass and you'll have benefited from it.
Wow. How many people are unorganized, who are messy, whose life is the same as how they live?
Some people love being like that. It is what it is. So.
Well, if you ever get that again, can you come and tidy up here for me?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
You've got to laugh about things like that, or else it sends people crazy. But yeah, I have to admit, I had a lot of clients with what they believed was OCD, but actually there is something in diet as well, Nico, but maybe we'll talk about that one day. There's a deficiency in diet that triggers certain things that I can tell you about, as well as how to heal certain parts of the body. That's my kind of work, but I find it fascinating to listen to a different perspective of how you handle that. And that's great, because this book is going to be amazing, because to be honest, we live in a world now where people are so easily labeled. And and soon as you label somebody, then it's very easy to sign them up to something that goes into the body that shouldn't go into the body, that then causes more issues. But that's another story. So if you can help one person with that without having to take medication and believe that there's something wrong with them, and actually say it's actually a gift, I think that's going to be an amazing book. And you must let us know, because we'll launch that and we'll tell everybody about it.
I am 13,000 words in.
Wow, that's a lot of words, Nico.
It's not going to be the biggest book. So I've gone beyond the point of thinking it needs to be so many words. It just needs to be good. So it won't be the biggest book, and I don't think it needs to be, because if something's right and the truth is there, that's all you need to know. And I've got books on OCD. I'm speaking from what works for me. So if it helps someone, that's good, because some people do really suffer from mental health, and it's one aspect that I've been directly affected with. So I'm sure it will be able to help people.
Totally. Well, Nico, it's been an absolute pleasure. Time's absolutely flown by, and I think my friends are gonna want to listen to you again and ask questions. And maybe if you have time, once we've posted this video, if anybody has any kind of issues or problems or CD, or if they think they've got mental issues, which I don't believe in. I don't believe in any of those things. I just think it's an unbalance of the body, and a bit of exercise, right eating, healthy living, and your surroundings is extremely important. Right, Nico?
Yeah, what I'd like to say is 100% hit the nail on the head with exercise. I think before anybody, if you're suffering from depression or, like you say, any form of OCD, etc., before you go to the doctors, do me a favor and go on a run, right? Make yourself go on a run in the countryside, a half an hour or a brisk walk a couple of times a day for a week. Think positive thoughts, and then see how you feel about it. Because
totally makes sense. Well, if anybody knows, because you've broken it, you've smashed it, as they say. So, Nico, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure listening to your wisdom. And you're such an old soul, Nico. You really are an old soul, and you're doing some great work. Your family on all social platforms, I see the interaction. I see how wonderful and how much respect you have for them, equally as they have for you, which is a really beautiful blessing. So it's a fantastic gym. Can you just tell us where this gym is, so that if people live close by, or even if they're anywhere near at some point, they can just come and just say hello to you? Yeah.
So my gym is in West Yorkshire. And we're in a small town called Halifax, in Booth town of Halifax. And yeah, that's where we are. If you go on my website, which is citusmma.co.uk, which is spelled CITUS.
We'll put a link underneath.
The reason for the funky name is it means rapid in Latin. And
it would do, wouldn't it, Nico?
We liken it to fast striking and submissions, but also getting to the essence of technique and teaching quick. So that's what that means. But yeah, anybody in the area that needs any help, if they're in the country, more than welcome to pop in for a chat. And maybe...
would you be also up for a demonstration around the country in England, just to I don't know if there might be another gym there that may mention your name. Would you like to do a demonstration or a talk or anything like that? Would you be up for that?
Of course, of course. I'm always out for stuff like that. Yeah,
Brilliant.
absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, well, let's see if somebody calls you and says, Nico, come and do some at our gym. We'd love to connect, because I think you've got an amazing energy and you've built something from nothing to something you should be damn proud of. And we all are proud of you. We love you very much, Nico. I love you. You're an amazing son. Never been a problem in my life whatsoever. In fact, I've probably been a problem in yours. Oh, not again, Dad. Can we stop talking about that? All right. Sorry, son. But anyway, Nico, it's been great having you on. Would you like to come back on the show? If
I really enjoyed it. Okay. I really enjoyed this. It's been fun. Thanks.
Brilliant. Well, you'll get more and more into it. So we'll do a 3-part series. This is part 1. We'll do 3 parts, and we're going to ask the audience what they'd like to ask of you. So the next time I can then hit you with some questions, but I just wanted everybody to get to know you a little bit, Nico.
Yeah, and just quickly, what I'd like potentially to talk about in the future, if anyone wants to ask me questions, is the martial mindset versus the art mindset. Also, the paradox between violence and spirituality. Things like this, which might...
Wow. Yeah. The next one then, that I like that. I think that's great. Well, this is a great introduction, Nico. Yeah, now people who know you are, we can then go, we can, as they say, we can deep dive.
Anytime.
All right. Thank you. Big hugs to my beautiful children. Beautiful. And a big hug to Haley and a big hug to you guys. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you so much, Nico.
See you later, guys.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.